world, let's chat it up. We're talking competitions, uniforms, and all of the above. It's the Cheer Mom, yes, the Cheer Mom podcast. Cheer Mom, yes, the Cheer Mom podcast. Cheer Moms, your podcast is on.
I'm going to give my best hair and makeup tips. And I was also joined by KaNeya, who I met at a competition last season, who had just absolutely flawless makeup. And she started giving me all of her tips that she and her mom have done to get ready for competition day. Even some hacks that she does that help her get ready for day 2 of a competition in only 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes to be competition ready on day 2. So I'm going to play that interview with KaNeya in a few minutes. But first, here are my tips on getting perfect competition day hair.
Do you want to get that high pony looking slick and clean every time? Well, whether it's competition hair, getting that super clean look for your choreography, or even just that cute, trendy low bun for going out with friends, Slick Hair Company is your answer. Slick Hair Company is the founder of the original Slick Stick, and they also provide high-quality hair care, hair accessories, and styling products that will help you to achieve the perfect style and look. I used their wax stick for that middle part low bun look, and it was awesome. I was even able to curl my hair the next day without washing it, and my hair wasn't all greasy and gross. Founded by a female entrepreneur, Slick Hair uses cruelty-free ingredients that smooth all hair types. They hydrate and strengthen your hair. They promote hair growth and leave your hair feeling fresh and not greasy or sticky. Visit slickhaircompany.com/thecheermomblog and use code thecheermomblog for 10% off your entire order. That's slickhaircompany.com/thecheermomblog and use code thecheermomblog for 10% off. Your perfect style awaits with Slick Hair Company.
Okay, first of all, it's impossible to give you every single tip for your competition hairstyle or your athlete's competition hairstyle because there are so many different styles. I'll say that the go-tos are usually a high pony with some kind of braid. Some teams require a hair piece, like the actual hair piece curls. I never had to do that. The best tip that I know is you actually have to sew it in rather than doing it the way that maybe the package says. That's the best tip I can give you on like the fake hair pieces. Sometimes you have 2 French braids. Sometimes you have low pigtails. It just depends on the team level, the age, and what your coaches decide. So I wish I could give you every pointer as it relates to your athlete. And if I don't cover something, you know you can always reach out and I'll do my best to respond with what I know. So this will just be an overview of typically the tools that just about everybody will need to accomplish any cheer hairstyle. And I promise that this will be a blog post with links to all the products that I use or have used or have been recommended by other cheer moms. So I will link that in the show notes and you will have it all in one place, including a video or 2 or 3 demonstrating a couple of different hairstyles and some makeup tips. First, you want a good smoothing brush. Not just any bristled brush. You want that soft bristle smoothing brush. That's going to help you with any bumps or frizzies and to help get all of that under control, especially if your athlete has a lot of hair or wavy hair or curly hair or frizzy hair. A smoothing brush covers a multitude of sin. A teasing comb would probably also be a good idea for you. Whether you have a teased pony or not, usually even the curled ponies need a little bit of finesse, a little bit of teasing, and a good teasing comb will also help you get a smooth part or a straight part if you're doing 2 braids, 2 buns. Shout out to my kitty cats doing space buns. A teasing comb will help you with any parts that you need to do. You're going to need lots of hair ties. Even if you're doing just a simple ponytail or bun, trust me when I say lots and lots and lots of hair ties, and I'll tell you why here in a couple minutes. You're going to need bobby pins, yes, to hold the hair in place, but I also have a trick that you can use bobby pins for that you might not have known. A good curl cream is a good idea. Gel, texturizing spray, hairspray, of course, and then these new wax sticks that have burst on the scene. Shout out to Slick Hair Co. Seriously, the Slick Hair Co., I sought them out because I love their wax stick. I love their slick stick. It helps with frizzies. It helps with a really nice, slick, sleek look every day, but it will also help immensely with cheer competition hair. So those are kind of the basics. I'll link my favorite hairspray and texturizing spray and everything in that blog post. And here are a few tips when starting your athlete's hairstyle. So first, I think it's beneficial if you start with dirty hair. I don't necessarily recommend washing your hair on the same day of competition day or the same day that you have to do competition hair. Minimum, do it the night before, but if you can let it be like day 2 or day 3 hair, it's gonna be easier to manage for the most part. Spoiler girls, we don't need to be washing our hair every day. I wash my hair once or twice a week. So start with dirty hair when doing competition hair. Next, I really recommend using a good texturizing spray and a curl cream or gel rather than using a ton of hairspray. Hairspray tends to, there's some good ones on the market, but hairspray tends to melt quicker. Not all hair types hold with hairspray, and hair technology, if you will, has advanced a lot with these products other than hairspray that will help hold a curl or keep those wispies from flying out. Moms, I know that we grew up with just spray the crap out of it and you'll be okay. And that's not necessarily working anymore, especially in these humid environments where a lot of cheer competitions are happening, like Texas and Florida. That stuff just melts right off. So you're better off using that wax stick, using that gel to keep the hair in place. Here's my bobby pin hack. So when you use a bobby pin, you're always supposed to insert the bobby pin in the hair bump side down. I know it feels like it should be smooth side down. No, the bump side is what grips and holds the hair in place. But that's not my hack. My daughter has so much hair, and it's straight on the top and wavy / curly on the bottom. And that combination caused me to spend so much time just trying to gather all of her hair into a ponytail or a bun that was high enough. And it seemed like no matter what, I could not hold it all in my hand and keep it perfectly smooth all around her head. There was always some kind of bumpy, and I feel like especially at the bottom, I would get it all together and then the bottom would have a huge sag or a bump. And I was like starting all over and going around her hair again. And she's like, oh my gosh, Mom, like it's been 20 minutes and you can't even get it in a ponytail. She developed her own skill and style of doing her own hair. I highly recommend flipping their head upside down or over the edge of the bed to really get that slick high pony, especially on the bottom, especially if they have textured hair or a lot of hair. But there comes a point where you've just got to call it good, put those hair ties in, and you might have a couple little bumps. So use your cream, use your hairspray, really slick it down. But if you have those little bumpies still, take a bobby pin, and if you visualize this with me, you can take the bobby pin, bump side down at the bottom of the bump, if it's on the bottom of the head, or the top of the bump, if it's on the top of the head, basically where the bump is. Start closer to the face from where the bump is. Put the bobby pin in and then drag it down toward the ponytail, toward the base of the ponytail, and that's going to help smooth out your bumps. I'm telling you guys, it works. And especially for that thicker, heavier hair, you're going to have a better chance of those bumps not returning or that hair staying in place throughout the whole day because the bobby pins are holding it together and are supporting the product that you've put in to smooth the ponytail out. Now, my last big hair tip is how do you get that super high pony where the bow is sitting right on top of the head? Most coaches in All-Star anyway, high school is going to be a totally different story. That's usually like a low pony or half up, half down, and the bow is kind of in the back and you don't have to worry as much about it. But for All-Star, they've got those big stiff bows a lot of times, and those coaches want that bow sitting right on top of the head. That's not going to ever happen by itself. I don't care how much starch and super glue and spray adhesive and whatever they put in those bows to make them as stiff as they are. I don't care how much of that is in there. No bow is just going to stand up on its own. So here's what you need to do. You get your high pony. You want the ponytail to sit in line with the top of the ear. So you go from the top of the ear, you need to be able to draw a straight line from there to where the ponytail sits. That's your baseline. That's where the ponytail starts. You put the first hair tie in, you do that ear check, and then you start putting hair tie after hair tie after hair tie. I've seen 2 or 3 hair ties. I've seen people go up to 5 or more hair ties in that high pony or even in that bun, because that's going to reinforce the ponytail. I never thought that this would be the thing that the thing that I made a career and profession out of, explaining this. Never thought that I would be here. Reinforce the ponytail, and it's going to cause it to go higher. And that is going to be the support for the bow, almost like a kickstand, if you will. You want the bow to stay in place. No one likes a floppy bow. And it's got to have something to grab onto. So that wall of hair ties is going to help with that. Then put your bow in, and it's going to feel a lot more secure. And then you can take it another step and bobby pin, remember, bump side down, the tails of the bow or parts of the bow to the hair ties or to the scalp. I'll tell you that most cheerleaders really hate that because it hurts. So you're much better off really working on where the ponytail meets the head and where the bow meets the ponytail and making that part secure. Okay, now let's move on to makeup. Okay, once again, makeup is going to vary by age, by team requirements, the look that your coaches want you to go for, and whether or not you are required to buy a makeup kit or a specific makeup palette, if you will, by your coaches. So there are companies out there geared toward dancers and cheerleaders that will sit down with coaches, put together a custom makeup kit, and your coach says, here, these are the products that you need to use. It streamlines it for everyone, and the coaches can feel confident knowing that everyone is going to look the same. I met some owners of a company that this is brilliant. They have pre-made eyeshadow kind of transfers. They're not stickers. It's like a transfer, and it's completely pre-done. And then you put it on the athlete's eye and it transfers to the athlete's eye, and then you just like blend it and it's done in like seconds. I think that's brilliant. Love it. But many programs also say, go buy your own product, go use the product that works best for you. This is the look we want to achieve. So I'm going to provide my tips based on that. Now, the makeup amount, the makeup style, the products you use can also vary by age. The looks don't vary that much. You're going to see a youth team with kind of the same style and look as maybe a senior team, but I think the method to get there is different for a 6-year-old as it is a 16-year-old, and I'll talk about that too. So just keep that in mind, and that some programs have a very specific technique based on tradition or based on theme, so always check with your coaches or directors or owner, and they'll communicate to you the look that they're going for or that they want you to go for. So all that said, here are the tools that you need to set yourself up for success and for a great competition day look. You're going to need a good makeup brush set. Invest in a good brush set. I have my favorites. I just got one on Amazon. I pretty much get everything from Amazon. I promise that I will link all of these as well. But you're going to need a good brush set with all the different kinds of brushes. Maybe not all of them, but more types of brushes than maybe you are used to using or that you've used in the past. Get a good brush set. Lip primer is always a good idea for those lip stains, for kind of the heavy duty lipstick that's required to accomplish a good competition day look. The judges want to see those smiles, and a good way to achieve that is by dark, rich, bold lip looks. So even your tinies are going to have kind of a big lip. So get a lip primer that's going to help moisturize, and it'll help with holding that color and making it pop hopefully without too many layers needed to be put on, which will dry out their lips even more. Always get some good makeup wipes. Those help with little mistakes along the way. You can get those little mini makeup wipes to get that little bit of red lipstick that you may have gotten on their chin, or define the eyeshadow look a little bit better. And speaking of which, I know a lot of moms will use their pads for the eyes, not iPads. They're pads for the eyes. They're like those under eye gels, but they're not gels. It's just like a cloth or a sticker that you put on the bottom of the athlete's eye that will give you a straight line for that upward eyeshadow look, or even that winged eyeliner look. So those pads are great and a useful tool, especially for someone like me who may be shaky or jittery or just can't draw a straight line. And then this is a tip that I recently learned from Samantha Ryan, who is no stranger to cheer makeup, and she is a Rebel feature model. Get a little spoolie. It's like those little mascara, like the tip of your mascara, except they're dry. You can get them by themselves. Not only will those help brush out eyelashes, whether they're your eyelashes or false eyelashes. Samantha gave me a really good tip for when, not if, because it's inevitable that when you do mascara, you're going to get a smudge somewhere, especially on the eyelid. It's just going to happen. So what she does, she taught me, is if and when that happens, you get that little spot of mascara, maybe in the middle of your nose or on your eyelid, let it dry all the way. Don't try to rub it. It'll just smudge. Don't try to take your makeup wipe to it. You're just going to mess up the work that you've done so far. Let the mascara dry and then use that little spoolie to sort of scrape it clean, and it'll come off of your skin much faster and easier. As far as products, again, there's such a wide range of products out there. I, for one, am thankful when coaches just say, we want a red lip, because one color does not show up the same on all skin types. So if I know that I need a red lip, it's much easier for me to find one that matches to my athlete and that works for her coloring or her skin. So let's talk lipstick. Cheer moms are always asking about what is the best lipstick, and more importantly and more frequently, what is the best lip stain? So if you don't know the difference, a lipstick is your normal oil-based or cream-based lipstick that usually will rub off. And you don't want it to rub off, especially when you have a light-colored uniform. And so cheer athletes have moved to a lip stain because when you apply that, when it dries, it doesn't transfer. And I would say even as recently as like 2018, there weren't a ton of, we'll say, effective lip stains on the market, and there are many more now. So it used to be that you had to kind of buy from like the one company to get a good red colored lip stain that you know wasn't going to transfer. And I love that company, but it doesn't work for all skin types. We were finding that girls were not only, their lips were not only drying out, but the product was turning into actual crumbs, actual crumbles on their lips. And there were even horror stories of lips being split or the lips burning so much from using that product. And I don't necessarily think it's the product's fault, because there are plenty of people who it works well for, but it doesn't work for everyone. So my daughter actually found a really good like drugstore level lip stain that I will link, and it's a really pretty red color. So there are more lip stains available. And I will say, don't just rely on other people's experiences when it comes to makeup and skincare products. Try them out for yourself and see what works best for your athlete. Next, get a good lip liner that's going to help forgive your lipstick drying. It's going to keep your lipstick contained. It's going to give it a nice finished look. So use that lip liner. Let's talk about eyelashes, specifically false eyelashes for cheer competition day. Moms, listen to me closely. Come on, stop what you're doing and listen to me. False eyelashes on your cheerleader are not that deep. Finding the perfect set of false eyelashes, it's just not a thing. It's not that deep. Do not stress. Of all the things that you have to stress about as a cheer mom, finding the right pair of false eyelashes should not be one of them. I know that there are many of you who will argue, who swear by your false eyelashes or swear by this brand or swear by this glue. It's just not that deep. Most false eyelashes and their glues will work just fine. Barring any eye allergies, barring any product allergies, which I, for one, have when it comes to glue on my eyelids. I do have horror stories, which is why I've stuck with my esthetician as long as I have, because she found a solution for me with eyelash extensions and hypoallergenic glue and solutions for me. Anyway, most false eyelashes will work just fine. If you're nervous about the ones in the aisle at the drugstore, which again work just fine, go to your local beauty supply store and they will have a step up. My only tip for false eyelashes is get a kit that has multiple lengths and thicknesses, because that's going to help give you that tailored look to your athlete's eyes. One size does not fit all when it comes to the length and the thickness, etc. If you have super blonde eyelashes like my daughter and me, you're going to need more, you're going to need thicker. If your daughter has luscious, thick, long, dark eyelashes, you may not need as much. So that's my soapbox about false eyelashes. And finally, at the end of the day, when it's time to wash all that makeup off, it's not always easy, especially when you have a lip stain. And I swear by this cleansing balm. I use it on my face every single day. It only has 10 ingredients, and I actually did a makeup tutorial with my young friend, Aubrey, and I had her use this cleansing balm at the end to see how it worked on her. And she was like, wow, this works amazing. And she even rubbed it all over her eyelids and in her eyelashes. It didn't hurt her eyes at all. And it got all of her makeup off in seconds. So I will link that cleansing balm in the blog post, which will be posted in the show notes. Go check that out. It is one of my favorite products and it smells really good too. A couple of really quick makeup application tips. First of all, your littles do not need a ton of foundation and contour. I think maybe just a little concealer or a little bit of powder and those sweet baby smooth skin faces will be just fine. You want to get that little glare, that shine off of them, but you don't need to spend a ton of time applying thick layers of foundation and doing contour on the younger ones. And now, because of YouTube and TikTok and all of these makeup influencers, younger and younger kids are learning how to do makeup and doing their cheer makeup themselves better than almost any of us moms can do it. So hopefully that's your story soon. But there are 3 main areas of focus when it comes to cheer makeup, and it will get more complicated as they get older. But for the littles especially, and somewhat universally across all ages, you want to focus on these 3 areas. Number 1, spend the most amount of time on the eyes. The eyes are, what do they say? The window to the soul. Spend the most time. If you're going to spend time putting on a lot of makeup, spend it on the eyes. Eyeshadow, eye primer, eyeliner, mascara, false eyelashes. Leave the most amount of time to work on the eyes. Number 2, gotta show off those big smiles, those pearly white teeth. Spend time and invest in a good lip stain and a good lip routine or lip style, if you will. You want it to last long. You don't want it to smudge. So using the tools and tips that I mentioned earlier will give you a good foundation for great lips, and you really want the lip to pop when they're on stage. And third, focus on the coloring of the cheeks. So this goes kind of back to the conversation about the younger girls and not needing a ton of contour. You do want to give them a little bit of color on their cheeks. And so using some blush, even using your lipstick, mom, using like a cream on their cheeks will give them just the color that they need, and then kind of go over it a little bit with some translucent powder so it doesn't, again, smudge, smear. It'll stay in place. I have a much more detailed list of tips in the form of a video that you can find at thecheermomblog.com. I will link it in the show notes, and you can see how, with the help of my friends Taylor and Aubrey, I do competition day hair and makeup. And now my new friend KaNeya, who showed up to an ambassador event for my jewelry company, the Cheer Collection, looking flawless with her hair and makeup. Absolutely flawless. I said, hey, we need to talk for a couple of minutes about your hair and makeup tips, especially after she and her mom told me that it only takes her 5 to 10 minutes to get completely hair and makeup ready for day 2 of competition on those 2-day competition events. So she is going to add to this with her own hair and makeup tips that I think you will find super helpful.
I am joined by, this is KaNeya. Everybody say, hey, KaNeya. Tell us what program you are with.
I'm with Cheers Unlimited.
And you are also an ambassador for the Cheer Collection. Why did you want to be an ambassador?
I just wanted to be an ambassador of a brand that I felt like strongly supported their ambassadors, and a brand that I just liked in general. Like, I like y'all's jewelry. I like the way that you treat everybody. So that was really what brought me to your brand.
Well, thank you. Before we get into like all of the tips, what is your competition day routine? Do you have one, like from start to finish? What do you do to prepare for the stress of competition?
So I'm like, my whole gym, we're very superstitious. So my superstition is I have to eat my Oreos before we come.
Oreos.
Yes, I eat Oreos every morning before we come to competition.
Okay.
And then I try and be there for every team that's competing that day. Like if we have a team that competes at 8 in the morning, I'll probably be there, and I'll be there for the last team to compete. So I tend to always just make sure I'm here for my gym, and they're always here for us. So that's really about it. Is we stand at the competition all day to make sure we're there for everyone.
Do you listen to any sort of music, or do you have like a competition morning playlist?
I listen to any team that I'm on, and then we have like our few like songs, like we like The Champion by Carrie Underwood, anything that gets us really hyped up to like think about that competition day that we're going into.
That's awesome. What's your favorite team outside of your gym?
Okay, I'm a TGLC girly.
Oh,
I have been since I was little.
Me too. TGLC, we love them. Okay, so back to the hair and makeup, because hair and makeup can be very stressful on competition day morning. It can take a long time. You want it to look perfect. Cheerleaders out there, does everyone love for your hair and makeup to look absolutely perfect? Like if it's not, I have two here. If it's not perfect, does it kind of like make you sad and stress you out? And then do you redo it again? And then you get like sad. I know that I have never been a cheerleader, and I have cried over my hair and makeup not looking great on any specific morning. Have you guys ever been so frustrated with your look that you cry, like it's just not working out? So see, we're all of us girls, like we understand each other. We're in the same boat. So you have some tips on making it less stressful and less time consuming. So what do you do, KaNeya?
So especially on 2-day competitions, we tie down my edges and then we leave my hairpiece in, as crazy as it is. And then we wipe off and we wash and do skincare on the rest of my face, but we leave my eyeshadow on. So then in the morning, we just fix up my foundation, we do a couple touch-ups, and then we're ready to go. And it pulls a lot of that stress out, because then we just, about 5-10 minutes and we're ready.
Wow. Okay. She just said 5-10 minutes and we're ready. And her mom has confirmed this. I know. Okay. Everybody who can hear the sound of my voice, it takes her 5 to 10 minutes to get ready for competition on day 2. 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. So we know that we're supposed to wash our face from foundation and the powder and all of that every night. So what do you use on your eyes to keep that intact? Because I know that when I wake up, and even if I have just a little bit of eye makeup left, it's like all over my face. So how do you keep it in place overnight like that?
We use a really good setting spray like that night right before I go to bed, and then I try to sleep on my back even though I don't like it.
Okay.
That night of a cheer competition, and it makes it a lot easier and makes it sit more solid for that next day.
Do you use like a primer before you put it on too to make it stay? Like these girls, How old are you guys? You're 10 and you're 11. They're like, yes, you need to use primer. Like they're nodding their head and giving like, they're affirming this. And I did not know anything about makeup when I was your age. You guys still know more about makeup than me. So, okay. So you use a primer. You put on, do you use a specific eye makeup product that stays really well? Like, are you spending money on like a higher end eye makeup?
We use like a white Morphe concealer before we put on like the actual white eyeshadow. And I think that right there, like that holds it on there, and it makes it where it looks a lot brighter by the time we get to that competition.
So is your concealer your primer, or do you do primer and then concealer and then eyeshadow?
No, we use that concealer as our primer.
Ooh, and it lightens it up. That makes sense. Okay, I'm going to try this tomorrow. Like, I never thought about concealer making your light eyeshadow look lighter. Did you guys know this? Okay, like everyone knows this except me, apparently. Okay, so do you use many layers of eyeshadow to...
We don't use a whole lot, but we do like almost a natural brown before we put on like that white and the black and everything. And I think that again just gives it a very level playing field to use before we put on like the heavy competition makeup.
Okay. So it's about layering, it's about stacking, and it's about finishing.
Yes.
Do you glue on lashes?
Yes, we use glue-on lashes. We love our fake lashes, but I usually take those off at night.
Okay.
Just so they don't get like bent out of place or anything.
Yeah. Okay. So in the morning, do you keep your eyebrow makeup on at night?
Yes.
Holy cannoli. Okay. So in the morning, you get up. What's the first thing that you do?
The first thing we do is we fix up my face and everything.
So we're doing the foundation, we're doing the contouring, and we're doing the highlighting on the actual skin.
Yes. And
Okay.
then we unwrap my edges because we want those to stay like really slick back.
And edges take a long time, I hear.
Yes.
A long time. Okay.
And then the last thing we do is we put our lipstick on at the very end, and then it stays the whole time.
Okay. And it stays the whole time. All right. So talk to me a little bit more about hair. When you do your hair the first time, how long does it take?
It doesn't take too long, but ours takes a little longer because we sew my hairpiece in and we sew my bow in. So maybe about 30 minutes because we like to, we wash my hair like 2 days before so that it's nice and clean. And then we slick it up and then we put on a hairpiece and we sew that and then we sew our bow and then we add extra bobby pins.
What do you use to slick it? Do you use wax or gel or mousse?
We use like Got to Be Glued gel and their hairspray.
Gel. Okay, gel and hairspray. And you slick it back. Do you have like a smoothing brush that you use?
Yes, we just have like a hard brush, like a nice wooden hard brush, and that's what we use.
And you sew the hairpiece in. I have heard this, that it takes longer, but it's worth the time to sew it in. And then you can leave that in overnight.
Yep.
And then do you wear like a satin bonnet at night?
Yes, I use like a satin hair scarf around my edges and then a satin bonnet over the entire hairpiece.
Would you recommend that for all types of hair?
I would, because it just keeps everything like nice.
Keeps it in.
Yes.
Like, what are the benefits?
I think it keeps your hair smooth. It helps keep it cleaner, and then it keeps it from getting so tangled at night. So then when you wake up, it's just already ready for you to just go ahead and go out.
So if you do toss and turn and move your head, the bonnet helps from like the frizzies that I have right now from those. So smart. Okay, what other tips do you have for cheer athletes getting ready for competition? It could be makeup, it could be anything.
This works. Like, I actually know quite a few people on my team who do this, but a lot of parents, especially on those early mornings, I know you're worried about getting your kids up and everything, let them sleep while you do their makeup. As crazy as it sounds,
I've heard this
let
too.
them sleep, because you can get in all those details that you probably can't get with a kid who wants to move or wants to talk. But then they also wake up and they're ready and they don't have to like stress about, oh my gosh, we're up, but we're late, because they don't even know. And then they wake up and you're ready to leave.
Okay. As a sleeper, as a napper, as someone who can sleep anytime, anywhere, I don't know if I want to be touched while I'm asleep. Like, are you guys okay with if somebody did your makeup in your sleep? Like, now, I think I would actually like it now. Okay, so she's 10 and she's like, yeah, no, I would slap you. I feel that. Like, she's not mean. She's just trying to sleep. So what are some like non-invasive makeup? Like, if you're doing it when they're asleep, like, what are you doing? You're not tapping them. You're not like holding I'm not going to touch your face. You're not like holding their face. Like, what are some like nice soothing makeup things you can do while they're sleeping or trying to wake up?
We tend to do like my eyes while I'm asleep, because that's all like just brushes. So it feels like someone's just like gentle brushing you, and like, then I wake up with the foundation.
Petting her with a brush. Yep. Well, KaNeya, thank you so much for spending some time with me. If you see KaNeya like in full comp makeup, she looks flawless and fantastic. Like, I'm not joking. You are so good at makeup, and so listen to her tips, and thank you. Good luck
for having me
with the rest of your teams competing this weekend and next weekend with coaching.
So there you have it, guys. My best hair and makeup tips, KaNeya's best hair and makeup tips. Thank you to KaNeya for teaching me a little bit of something new. Hopefully, between the two of us, you learned something new too. Share this episode with a friend. Go check out the hair and makeup tutorial videos on the Cheer Mom blog. Competition season will be here before you know it. And until then, remember, it's just cheerleading.